Hello guys, this is Ruban Raj, and in today's video I'm going to talk about split brain problem. It doesn't mean that the brain is actually split into two half. It's a kind of technical term we use in distributed database systems. It's a typical kind of problem normally happens in distributed systems. I'll explain this with example, and for that we can consider two data nodes are located in two different places. Let's say we can call it as data node 1 and it's located in USA, and the data node 2 which is located in Europe, and there is a network connection between these two data nodes, and there is a replication process is running on the background. So whenever there is a new data or there is an update in any data node, it will be replicated to the others. And we can consider we have some users on USA and some other users on Europe, and we can call it as 1 2 3 and 1 2 3, and let's say the user 1 is going to create a new record in data node 1, and the record is he's creating a name, and the name is like maybe David. And after he created the record, the replication process will replicate the new data on the other data node. So we will have the same data on the data node 2 also. So here the users from the Europe region can have the same data. So if there is a network connection between the nodes, there is no problem. Let's consider if there is a network interruption. There is some problem in the network connection, so now the two data nodes are not connected together, but still the data nodes are running individually. So still the users from USA region can contact this data node to create a record, or they can read some old data. Now let's consider the user 3 is going to change the value of David from David to David 1, and the old value is vanished and the new value is David 1. And here let's consider the user 1 is going to update the same record with the David 2. So in this situation you can see there are two different versions of same data available in the two different servers, but technically it should be same. For example, here once the user is updated this value to David 1, this server should have David 1. If the server update the value of the name to David 2, it should be replicated here, but here there is no network connection between the two data nodes. So you can see there are two different versions of same data available here. So we call this problem as a split brain problem. Let's consider technicians resolve the network issue. Now again these two data nodes are connected together and the replication process begins. So what happens now? How the database choose the data? Which data should I keep? Here the version is David 1, here the version is David 2, and the database found there is a conflict. And how the database will resolve the conflict? There are many different conflict mechanisms available, and different database follow different conflict resolution policies, and I can give you some example. The first example would be consider the revision ID. So each data will be tagged with the revision ID. Not in all database, but let's say here the data is tagged with the revision ID. So what we could do is we can sort the revision IDs, and we can pick the least one or we can pick the highest one. And the second one is the second option would be consider timestamp. So here let's say this data is created at 12:01, and here this data is updated at 12:05. So the database can pick the most recently updated data. So here in this case, this one David 2 is the most recently updated data. So what the database will do is it will take this value and put it here. So it will remove this David 1 and it will update the value as David 2. So this is one kind of conflict resolution policy. There are many, but actually this makes sense. Actually here we can consider the most recently updated one. So this is one of the way we can resolve split brain problem, and you don't need to write any code to resolve the conflicts because all database have their own conflict resolution mechanisms, and it will do by itself. In some specific cases you can go and resolve the conflict manually. And yes, this is all about split brain problem and how we can resolve the issue. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching this video, guys.